Good morning, respected Director NRSC, Dr. Prakash Chauhanji. Today's distinguished speaker, Dr. Rajeev Mehajan, all Controller NRSC, all NCMC members, Deputy Directors, my colleagues who are attending in person, and also those who have joined us on live stream at all our campuses. A warm welcome to you. Today, as you are aware, as a part of Golden Jubilee Knowledge Sharing Series, we are having a distinguished lecturer talk by Dr. Rajeev Kumar Mehajan. To give a brief about Rajeev ji, I will just read his biodata before we go on with his presentation. Dr. Rajeev Kumar Mehajan is a TEDx speaker, and has a decorated career of close to 4 decades in 6 organizations, including the United Nations, the IAF, IMD, MOES, MOD HQs, and served at DST. Dr. Rajeev Mehajan has served at apex levels and been driving force in game-changing initiatives that transform the country's profile and capabilities. His remarkable contributions have been awarded by the IAF, the United Nations, and have recently been appreciated by none other than the Honorable Prime Minister of India. The Honorable President of India has recently appointed him as visitor's nominee for selecting professors in 4 departments of IIT Kharagpur. Like many other firsts, he is the first officer to be selected from the entire set of armed forces to be recruited directly at the Joint Secretary cadre in any of 27 organizations under the umbrella of DST. He provided leadership as second in command at SERB DST to help raise the quality and footprint of Indian science and engineering research. He currently serves as strategic advisor R&D at Thapar University Corporate HQ at NCR, Delhi. Recently, he has been chosen to work as only expert from India on renewable energy at WMO UN as one of the 15 global members in the group. Dr. Rajeev is a panel member of Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau of India. He has mentored more than 1,000 current generation professionals in various fields as chairman of the interview guidance boards for IAS and allied services at an organization, Samkalp. He wears another interesting hat of council members for recommending the best corporate brands in the country at Brand in Sync listing. He has been the chairman board of studies of Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, and has regular presence as subject expert at institutions as well as the national broadcasting, audio and visual platforms. He has a doctorate degree in meteorology and 4 master's degree in mathematics, meteorology, defense strategy, and business administration with specialization in human resources. Dr. Rajeev is a blogger, a published poet, a dedicated marathoner, enjoys yoga and hut yoga, and participates in professional cycling expeditions. He enjoys growing his professional network and is well connected at LinkedIn profile and Instagram as well as personal website, and has reasonable share as influencer at his social media handle and personal blog. So, warm welcome to you once again, Dr. Rajeev ji, and we welcome you to make your presentation. Thank you.
So this is still morning. Good morning to everybody. I didn't hear. I still didn't hear. Good morning, everybody. Wonderful. So we are here to talk about purpose versus passion, actually, right? And I see some young faces, and I see veterans, rather more veteran than me, actually, right? And I'm really excited to perhaps not talk about it, as I said over LinkedIn yesterday. Please keep coming. Don't shy. Yeah. Importantly, I want this to be an interactive session where I learn from you and you learn from me. Is that fine? So this is a more of learning experience from each other, and rather than we call it a motivational talk. You don't need motivational talk, actually. You people are already motivated, actually. Am I right? So 3 cheers to NRSC team here. Hip hip. I didn't hear. Hip hip. Wonderful. And if I have to ask the generation here, the young generation and middle generation, or should I say veteran generation and the middle generation, I can see all type of complexes here. My eyesight is not bad, if whatever I can make out. So what exactly do you feel what is the purpose and what is the passion? What is the difference between two? Please keep coming, keep settling, and come in the front. I would like to address you rather than in the rear. Yes, come. So anyone from the audience? Purpose and passion. Is there any difference? Or they're related? Or they converge to each other? Anybody? Yes, please. Purpose has a mandate and passion has some motivation. Please give him a big hand. What's a good name? Chalapati Rao. Wonderful. So there's one more Chalapati Rao as NSS director in Trivandrum actually, and he's a good friend. Please keep coming. Don't worry. Yeah. So anybody from this side, middle side, has proven that they are veterans, and anybody from this side, only ladies, huh? Come on. There's Pakistan, India, or what? Okay. Yes. Anybody from this side? Passion, purpose. Would you like to improve upon his definition? He says passion means it needs to be driven by motivation. Whereas purpose, he has something else in mind. Yes? Anybody? Yes. Wonderful. What's your good name? Sakshi. Yeah, tell me.
Passion is like which we want to do. Means our will and way. And purpose is like need. Means it is mandatory for our life.
So you are on almost similar lines what you are saying. So you are aligned with him?
Yes, sir.
So please give her a big hand. So let us hear somebody from here who can talk slightly differently. Others? Wonderful. What's your good name? Narendra. Yes, Narendra. Purpose is more related to mind and passion is related to Okay. I think you are also almost aligned with him. Am I right? You people are a great team. You don't want to contradict each other. Am I right or not? Please give him a big hand actually. So see, there are two purposes of this clapping which I am getting it done from you. First purpose is that nobody can get into the nirvana state, during this next 45 minutes to 1 hour. And the other purpose is that least we can do is to cheer up each other. Am I right or not? Right? Wonderful. So I think this picture is very familiar for you. Am I right? What kind of emotion it creates in you? You can be very candid. It is not being, quoted anywhere, right? It's a purely informal communication. What kind of emotion you get on this picture? And why I'm drawing my purpose versus passion from here? Anybody? Empathy, you said. So, but where from purpose versus passion came? In fact, when I looked at this picture when it came 1 year ago or more than 1 year now? Yes, more than that. Okay. So what was the first feeling in my mind? I'll share with you later. But tell me, anybody, last question. Please keep coming. Yes, come. Settle down. Can somebody direct somebody? Well, at the gate that they did not hesitate. They can come and, settle down actually. So anybody from the audience, what this picture reflects to you? Emotions. Wonderful. Who said emotions? Okay, what's a good name? Oh, please give him a big hand. So where from these emotions are related to purpose versus passion, my perception about this picture is, what was the purpose of whosoever purpose was, on which this gentleman started crying actually? What was the purpose? Which mission? 2 or 3? 2. Chandrayaan 2 mission was the purpose of this mission. Am I right or not? What was the outcome? Will you call it failure? Trial. Will you call it trial or failure? Partial success. Wonderful. Please give a big hand to your Prakash also. So the purpose was to soft land, am I right? And we didn't succeed. We had hard-landed actually. We didn't succeed. So what happened? Where I'm trying to, purpose is clear, where I'm trying to relate with passion here. And why Prime Minister had to hug this man? What for? Was he respecting the purpose, the outcome? Or he was respecting the passion of the man and his team? Are you with me now? So now you see a different context of purpose versus passion. So somebody said purpose is with mind, passion is with heart. I will put it this way. Purpose need not necessarily be the outcome. Purpose could be also, purpose has a different dimension in my mind. Purpose means life purpose also. Agreed? There's a purpose of life for which we are living actually. Is it our, is our purpose is only next paper, next patent, next technology establishment? Is this for which we are in this organization? So if this is not the reason we are here actually, what for we are here in ISRO actually? So I go to the next slide with only one submission at this stage. It is really not very important that whether you achieve the outcomes in life or not, whether your purposes are achieved or not. What needs to be valued, whether you are passionate about what you do in life. Do you agree on that? So Prime Minister did pat, this man, and you know what happened in the next mission? Success. If this would not have happened, if this would not have caught the attention of the media, attention of the entire country, now there will be some critics, there is always, series of critics actually. They may say, oh man, come on, how can you cry in front of the whole country, right? So there are various ways of looking at everything, but I take it very positive that somebody was so passionate that he couldn't absorb this feeling that he has done so much for this particular mission, but he's nowhere. But finally it happened, of course, under somebody else, continued leadership, but it did happen. If that passion would not have been respected, it would not have happened. Do you agree? Wonderful. So this is my favorite man actually, and what did he say? He said the reward for our work is not what we get out of it, the outcome we get out of it, but what we become out of it. What we become out of it. So what I'm trying to say, purpose of life which you are leading, whether professionally or personally, is slightly different. It has a higher dimension actually. It is neither a paper, nor a patent, nor a technology translation. It is something else. The purpose of life is what I have become over a period of time. Whether I have accumulated too much ego in myself, that I know, don't tell me, I know everything. You might have, more and more intellectuals you are among. There is a possibility that everybody is in his own domain, and you try to tell the person something, and the answer would be, even if the answer is not that I know, the body language, the non-verbal communication will tell, come on man, what are you talking about? I know. If you have this theory that I know, then there is no possibility of knowing it further. But if you keep telling yourself, I don't know. Somebody was narrating my introduction, and in my introduction he said that I mentored about 1,500 plus mentees, and out of them perhaps 673 have already made to IS and allied services. Is it I'm blowing my trumpet? No, what I'm trying to say, all these 1,500 plus mentees of mine, whom I have taught, whom I have groomed, whom I have nurtured, whom I have hand-holded over a period of time, what I have realized, more than me giving them anything, I have learned so much from them. Because it's a different generation altogether. What is the average age of a person who is appearing for this examination? 25 to 30. What is my age? I'm a retired man, superannuated man. So there is at least difference of 3 generations. Don't you think it is incumbent on my part also to learn something from that person or not? I'm asking you. Youngsters, yes or no? So the reward for our work is not what we get, but what we actually become as a person. Whether we have evolved as a person over a period of time. What is the purpose of life? Vis-a-vis my passion for next stage technology, next stage patent, next stage paper, etc., etc. Are you with me? Should we go further? Okay, great. So how do I achieve this life-work balance? How do I achieve life-work balance? Forget about this slide. Anybody among the audience, would you like to share anything with me? What is your understanding about work-life balance or life-work balance? I'm writing it life-work balance actually. The slide says work-life. I'm always giving life as more importance actually. Anybody from the audience? What is your understanding about life-work balance? Yes, please. Okay, so what's a good name? Please give him a big hand. I didn't hear. So wonderful. I think your thoughts are very much aligned. So what he's trying to say, as long as you are able to converge the purpose of your life and purpose of your work, the life is swinging. That is how the balance will be achieved actually, right? So what exactly, and if you ask this question yourself, that am I in this life work balance, the first point which comes to my mind, and you must ask this question to yourself, when you go back also you should ask this question yourself. Conscious versus cautious approach. Do I have a conscious approach in life or a cautious approach in life? Am I really aware about the environment? When I get up in the morning, the first thing which I observe, do I go to the garden? Do I see these leaves? And when I look at this, sorry for doing this, do I look at these leaves? You are all imagery people, right? The finer part of this leaf actually. How many of you have seen this? Are you conscious? Are you aware about the environment in which you are living? Or it is all technology, technology, technology? When you are moving from your home to office, you park your car here and you start moving towards the office. Do you observe the environment around you? That beautiful chidiya which is there on the tree. Are you conscious? Are you alive? If you are alive, I will say you are actually very close to that balance actually. The second part, relationships. Are you able to, whether it is professional sphere or personal sphere of yours, are you able to strike a balance in your relationships, whether at home or in the office? Ask this question to yourself. If you are not, whether at home or in the office, generally what I've seen, a person, generally, not as a rule, a person who cannot strike a balance in relationships at home. Home means not just your own home, but extended home also, okay? He will never be able to strike a balance in his professional space. Because that's a very small element where you need to experiment that balance actually. Are you able to nurture relationships at home, in the workspace? Then you are in that life-work balance. This self-care. How much time you give to yourself actually? What is your definition about giving time to yourself? What are you supposed to do, when, self-care is concerned actually? I personally feel, and I practice this. Now, Prakash Chauhan is going to kill me actually on what I'm going to say now. If I have to actually, out of 100%, whatever I am today and my efforts, time and energy, if I look at my friends, they are the priority for me. My friends. Okay, how much I give to them? 20%. Because they give me the dopamine. They are my hormones actually, right? So I give them 20%. Come on, then where is that 80%? Next 20% I give it to my family, my kids, extended family, etc. And next 20% I give to my work only. Then where is the rest 40%? I give it to myself. I give it to myself. Rest 40%, I give it to myself. Are you taking care of yourself? Whether physical health, mental health, or your spiritual health. What are you doing about it on day-to-day basis? Are you living a compulsive life? उठे, नहाए धोए, ऑफिस पहुंच गए. ऑफिस से बैग उठाया, घर पहुंच गए. बीवी को देखा, बच्चों को देखा, मुस्कुराए भी नहीं. That is the kind of compulsive life. Are you leading that kind of life? Or when you even pass through the corridors, I observed a very significant phenomenon in last 24 hours in the campus wherever I moved. I tried to attract the attention of the person, myself, rather he looking at me and saying, who is this guy? Stranger actually. Let me just try to, ask him a question or say hello to him. Of course, you're in a secret organization, right? But I'm in your campus actually. What I'm trying to say, do you even look at the environment around you? Are you conscious about it? I'm not saying cautious, conscious about it. The last part, resilience. Do you think that resilience is very important if you want to have the life-work balance? What is resilience? Anybody from the audience? Resilience. Is it resilience with respect to some cyclonic storm? Yes, somebody was saying something here. Being stable in mind. In what circumstances, ma'am? What's her good name? Radha. Please give her a big hand. So to me, resilience means to bounce back. To bounce back in so-called failures. I personally feel failures are bound to happen. But do you have that kind of resilience that you will eventually not only survive? See, survival is one aspect, but you will bounce back in those failures. Do you have that? If you don't have that, that means you start looking at your life a bit more critically now, that I need to have that life-work balance, which I don't have now. So let's now, having defined what is work-life balance, let's now talk about the strategies which we can have. Anybody from the audience? What should be the first strategy? Yes, ma'am. Prioritization. And prioritization of professional or personal? Both. Okay, so let me help you. So please give her a big hand. Why I kept self-reliance? What is the what do I mean by self-reliance? What do I mean by self-reliance? Same thing. Am I giving myself my 100%? Am I looking at myself as an individual who is part of that small, universe around us, and very significant part of us, the universe actually. Am I looking at myself in that manner? So when it comes to self-reliance per se, I will say human around us are really adaptable, okay, very adaptable, and more and more the time has come in last 10 years particularly. What I have realized, whether it is courtesy COVID or many other situations, we have seen that whether it is the society around us, whether it is the family around us, whether the friends around us, ultimately your own reliance on yourself will make you survive and bounce back very well. So this is the first strategy you have. Do you have that self-reliance on yourself? Oh, my friend Ramana is here. Wonderful. Okay. Family. So once again, am I giving, the right time to my family? Okay. See, family's definition, to my understanding, the family's definition itself, particularly after 2019, during the COVID, has really transformed. What has happened during that time? Somebody who was not even known to us, he has extended the help to us. Isn't he or she our family? I'm asking you this question. Family or not? So that means not only you nurture your own family, you start looking this whole kutum, this small kutum of NRSC people as family per se. Are you with me? Fears. Are they important? Why I have listed fears? What is the strategy with respect to? That means whether I am developing tendency to overcome the fears or not. What all fears you have? Anybody among you? And what is the biggest fear you have? Anybody? Biggest fear? Central? Left wing? What? What's a good name? Boss. Please give him a big hand. So somebody can be as candid as Abdul. Okay. Boundaries. I will come to the fears later actually, slightly later actually. Boundaries. What boundaries I am talking about? See, it is fine to look at yourself, it is fine to look at your family, it is fine to overcome your fears, but it is also important, very important, to establish boundaries for perfect relationships. It's very important. Rather than cribbing later, rather than, annoying yourself, annoying others, you must have develop your own set of boundaries when it comes to your relationships. Are you with me? Yes or no? For your own happiness. Ultimately, strategy is about you. That how do you lead your life? And then lastly, what I'm fond of, fitness and nutrition. We'll come to that. This is all from Gyan from internet actually. But what is important for you? How many of you are aware of these hormones? And yes. You are aware, you said. Please give him a big hand. So dopamine, serotonin, this my daughter is in Max Planck, Germany. She is doing PhD in molecular biomedicine. And she keeps educating me on this. Rajeev, she calls me Rajeev. She doesn't call me Papa actually. And it is by design actually. And she says that all this are going to empower your system. Start looking critically that if these are the hormones which creates happiness in you, at least one activity out of each, 4 of them, I should start doing. And one thing which you can do, really wonder, is start passing smiles to others. Hoga? Can you do this? Whenever you meet even a stranger, just exchange smile. Don't you think it is important? Important or not? Wonderful. What is this picture about? In case I have to ask a question. Suppose this picture sums up something in your mind. One word for this picture. This picture is of NCP or Goa, where I recently visited to deliver a talk. What is this picture about? Not only talk, I created a workshop which I wanted to create here, but then you people are not in the campus actually. That is, and my God, Hyderabad traffic. it gave me zitters. My life started at Hyderabad way back in 1987, Dundigal, right? So that time Hyderabad and now Hyderabad is very different. So coming back to what this picture tells you about. What this picture is about. Anybody? Nobody is speaking from this side. Fitness. Somebody said fitness, somebody said leadership, right? Please give both the big hands. Let me see. Ladies generally have a lot of empathy towards pictures. What is your understanding about this picture? Happiness, she said. Anybody else? Greenery. Wow. What's a good name, ma'am? Maldi, and you? Please give them a big hand. This picture is about this man who is, you know this man? How to point out the green t-shirt? Yeah, he's who? Director of this, yeah. So this picture to me is about group dynamics. Is about, we all are here in a group. ठीक है, खाते पीते इकट्ठे हैं, काम भी इकट्ठे करते हैं, लैब में भी इकट्ठे करते हैं, ठीक है, सब कुछ करते हैं. बट हम कोई ना कोई ऐसी एक्टिविटी जीवन में जरूर करें. वी शुड टेक ऑन सच काइंड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज इन लाइफ which are fitness oriented, which are health oriented, and which are done in the group. You might be doing yourself some activities on your own in gym. You might be outdoor person, अकेले निकल गए walk के लिए, very nice, wonderful. But start believing and start practicing in group dynamics like this. So what is the importance of this group dynamics, you know, to my understanding? When I was a kid, 11th, 12th, my basketball coach, and you'll be surprised, you know, whatever this basketball coach said to me way back in 1978, I was in, I think, 10th that time, and he gave me 3 principles of life actually. Why the group sports, group fitness activities, group physical regimes are very important. The first one was, they reverse the aging. They reverse the aging when you do it in group. Of course, when you do it alone also, that makes sense. Health regime, the fitness regime will reverse. See, we are all mortals. Don't you think so? मरना तो सबने है, ठीक है? But the kind of life which we are going to lead, is this important or not? Don't you think that if I am able to reverse my age by about 10 to 15 years purely by a dedicated physical, sports or health regime, is it good or bad? You are improving what? Your quality of life? When you can improve your quality of papers, patents, technology, right? I am very fond of using this. Can't you think that your quality of life is more important than anything else in the world? Please give him a big hand. Yourself a big hand. Please give yourself a big hand. So the first part is to reverse aging. I know what I am surprised about this basketball coach of mine is nobody. He was among us, you know, one of our peers only who started coaching us actually. But he had this gyan, and this gyan was given, and he keeps giving. This gyan is being given very regularly by none other than Gopi Chand. You know this man? The badminton player? You are aware? And I was amazed when somebody, you know, shared this gyan that today he came at our Adobe complex and, you know, he shared all this actually. So I was amazed that somebody, nobody, you know, he was nobody actually, but he had that gyan that what a group dynamic can do to reverse aging at least by 10 to 15 years. And I call it physical health. The next one, survival and bounce back after failures. Don't you think the group dynamics, the group sport activities, nobody can teach you, neither this coach nor any motivational book, nobody can teach you, no book can teach you except for this group dynamics. जब आप हारोगे तो जीतोगे भी, और अगर आप जीतोगे तो हारोगे. How to bounce back after the failures? You saw the cricket team, how they performed this time? Wonderfully. And what happened last time? The story is very clear to you. The story is very clear to you. So I call it not only survive but bounce back after failures. I call it mental health. The first one is physical health. The second one is, the third one, sharing is caring. When you're playing together, when you're doing any physical activity together, don't you think it is important that you are going to take care of the other person's well-being? That he should not get hurt while playing? Am I right or not? If you're a true sportsman, you will have this. And once again, nobody can teach you to share and care. It's easy to say कि भैया घर में you have your own kids, children, what you keep teaching them? कि भैया इसके साथ share करना सीखो. You must learn first thing in your life is how to share. That is how you will develop the attitude for care, not only for your family but for the society. But giving this gyan to the child, will he ever learn? Walk the talk. If you play sports, whether in a group, even in a family, you can create this kind of mechanism, and I call it spiritual health. No Buddha can teach you this. Only group dynamics, group physical activities, group regimes can teach you this. This picture is very magnificent, and I created this group. I called it Run, Ride, Relive. And I created this group at a time when COVID-19 was in its second wave. And second wave was what? Fatal. We lost, almost each one of us lost either a friend or a relative in that wave. And it was only depressive. So one fine day, 30th June, when nobody was coming out of the homes, in my own society, I created this group known as Run, Ride, and Relive. Running, run for running, ride for cycling, and reliving means we had one day in a week, that is at least Saturday or Sunday, where all these, not only the members, their families, their children, they used to assemble together, and we used to play in the morning for about 2 hours, followed by a breakfast session, collective session. And this picture, what you see, within 40 days, in Hindu mythology, it is said that any activity which we call it chaliya, right? Any activity which we do for just 40 days, it becomes our DNA, it becomes our habit. So we celebrated the first 40 days in this fashion, and in thick of COVID. The police cops came to interrupt me. Man, are you not aware that you are not supposed to do this activity? You can see one of the person is even wearing the mask, right? But with love and affection, I explained to him that why I'm doing this activity. Just look at this, what we did within 40 days at this place. My son left of me. This video was not to show you to get impression that I'm doing a great job. This video was to tell you that it is very much possible in those difficult times, then it is possible in these good times also. Let one of you, why should I look at the director? Let one of you take a lead in this whole process to create this kind of thing. So let me now, tell you that whatever we are, we are at least 100% people. 100% people means physically we are what most of us are 100% people. We have everything in our life, right? Which God has given us to capitalize our potential. But if that video couldn't, perhaps motivate you, I have some real life stories. This man was born with a serious disease. You have heard about this name? He went on to break world records in the 100 meter and 200 meter sprints. This man with a handicap, the born handicap. And if we, knowing very well that what we are, absolutely 100% peace, if we are not capitalizing our potential, there is something wrong in our thinking with respect to purpose versus passion. So your passion, your passion is only to go for a next promotion, next publication, or even hobby-wise, your passion is to reach a particular level. I don't think you are on the right path unless you understand it in a very holistic fashion. Holistic fashion, that what is my purpose of life? Is it only passion driven or it should be purpose driven? This girl, she lost her left arm in a shark attack at the age of 13. Can you believe this? Look at the story. In 2 years, just 2 years, she had won her first national surfing title. Please give her a big hand. What is the name of this person? Anybody from the audience? He's an Olympic guy, and you can see he has a severe handicap, right? Devendra Jhajaria. Despite facing the challenge of losing the left hand at a young age, he came back in sports. First Indian Para-Olympian to win 2 gold medals in javelin throw at the Paralympics. I thought you will say that, sir, आप फिरंगी लोगों का photo दिखा रहे हो, why not, some Indian guy? And you have Avani, you have this Mariappan, famous names. Mary Kom, movie was also made, am I right? Who was the actress? Huh? किसने बोला प्रियंका चोपड़ा? Okay. Please give him a big hand. Virendra Singh, has he got any handicap? Homework for you. Homework for you. What handicap he had? Or anybody knows among you? Pardon? What else? One is eyesight. Please give him a big hand. There was one more. And Saina Nehwal. And your own Rajeev. This is also a real story. A shy, timid boy till about 10th standard. He's standing in front of you and giving you motivational gyan, motivating you, inspiring you. He didn't know. He had no confidence to be in the limelight, to be at the stage. He was, you can't even think of actually. You can't even think of. Okay. And it continues. Please watch this movie. I participated as part of this expedition among the 7 selected cyclists.
उसके बाद अब देखो last 15 years about nearly 20 years you can say बहुत कम मतलब बर्फ़ हो रही है। बर्फ़ होती थी तो जनवरी में
Just 3 years ago.
ज़्यादा नहीं होती थी बारिश, बर्फ़ बहुत ज़्यादा होती थी। अब ऐसा है कि बारिश भी हो रही है, वो बर्फ़ कम हो रही है। पानी का तो बहुत मतलब दिक्कत हो रही है। जैसे बर्फ़ कम हो रही थी, आपको जो वाटर रिसोर्सेज हैं, स्प्रिंग वाटर वगैरह हैं, वो सारा मतलब कम होना शुरू हो गया है। तो इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि बहुत चेंजेस आई है इन्वायरमेंट में।
I was the only guy from government, rest all were from corporate world. I was 58, next senior most person was 44 years old. I was least qualified in cycling. My first ever expedition, they all had credit of 6 to 7 expeditions of such nature. All odds were against me. 15,000 feet, roughly 50% of the oxygen at times. And you're cycling, you're not walking, you're not riding motorcycle.
That I've been here, I've seen a huge change in the climate as well. There are villages that are now totally, they've run out of drinking water. If you have a bad year, you don't have snowfall, a lot of the villages run out of drinking water.
Public transport, use cycle, whichever means he finds.
He's the youngest guy, 35-year-old. He is the chief technical officer of his organization.
I have a 9-month-old boy, and I would like him to be an outdoors person. I'd like him to be able to see all of this. And the way we are going right now, I wonder if we would actually be left with this 10 years down the line.
रोका भी जा सकता है अगर हम आज की डेट में सीरियस हो जाए तो। अगर उसके बाद अभी 10 साल और हम वेट करेंगे तो फिर तो काफ़ी नुकसान हो जाएगा जी।
Aim was again to tell you that whatever your constraints in life, never let them push you against the wall. Rather, let them pull you, take them as more of a challenge to create opportunities for you. And the journey continues. People ask me, I'm a gym person, I'm a, outdoor person. There's another dimension of your life. When I say physical life, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health, they generally ask me this question. I go for gymming 1 hour every day, 1.5 hour every day. I go for a run, every day. That's perfectly fine. But why Hatha Yoga? Anybody among the audience? So this journey of mine also started about 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And it going to continue till I die. Yes. Anybody? Who is the yoga practitioner among you? Yes, ma'am. What is your understanding about Hatha Yoga? Hatha Yoga is yoga, basically. Asanas and all that is yoga, actually. Yes.
After I do the yoga, I feel relaxed and the day starts very peaceful. And this is what I experienced when I do yoga on that particular day. And if I miss it, I feel something I lost, something like that.
Wonderful. Please give her a big hand. Anybody from this side? Or yes, please. Yeah. Wow. Please, what's her good name?
Swati.
Swati. Please give her a big hand. There's one lady from there also. Yeah.
And every posture is followed by its reverse posture, where you are, and once you are pressing one part of your body, like let's say if we are doing Sarvankasana, it's followed by a Malsyasana where you are again relaxing the portions which you had.
Wonderful. Please give her a big hand. What she's trying to say, it is the only scientifically designed health regime of yours. So whatever you're doing, cycling, swimming, running, sports, basket, tennis, everything, you must support this with this element actually. I give you my personal example. When we started way back in 2004 September, I got posted in Coimbatore and we got into an institution. I will not take names. Names are not important. And we got trained formally, me and my better half. My better half had a disease that time. You know what is the disease? 33 years old lady at that time. What was the disease? Her RA factor was positive. It means your body is against yourself. Courtesy these yoga practices for 1 year, a little bit of Ayurvedic medicine, which she never did subsequently. Within 1 year, doctors are today surprised. Touch wood, within 1 year that RA factor became negative. No more struggle with the body actually. So now what happens with RA factor positive? You develop a special type of arthritis in your whole body. To an extent, your fingers, the small joints gets deformed over a period of time. So that's the beauty of this yoga. Can you see 1 year the RA factor was negative and we got it done at several places. Next 10 years it remained negative. Now we have forgotten about this story. So we generally are worried about our health, our children's health, our parents' health, etc., etc. Here is a system in yogic science which is the thing, and I have listed for you. It improves flexibility and strength. See, whatever sports you do, like I am marathoner, and when I say marathoner, generally I do half marathons these days. I have left full marathons because of my age. I'm respecting that, because otherwise my knees are going to go bad. But even 21.42 kilometer is bloody too bad actually in terms of stretching your limits. So how do I compensate for this kind of running? Last month I did 600 kilometer of running. How much? 600 kilometer of running. How do I compensate? Through what? Yoga only. This really takes back me to the full perfect shape the way I was before the run. Overall well-being, which I call it physical, mental and spiritual health. And some of the simple yoga practices, simple, no? Very simple. Very simple. You can see what jokes apart, what I'm saying. Look at this picture, look at this picture, look at this picture. All these pictures are indicative of what? You need not do this regime only for a dedicated time period. You can do it in the office. Let people laugh. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's your health. You are important. So rather than just being glued to your screens, to your chairs, and slouching like this, right? Most of you, I know. Okay. So rather than slouching like this, it is better that you take every 1 hour, you take a break. Every 1 hour, just break and just walk. Walk in the room. That's all. Only this much you must do actually. And for me, yoga, this is a bit of mockery, yoga and moch. I have realized over the last 20 years that anything which you do mundane, monotonous, 24/7, like week में कितने दिन होते हैं? 7 days. Suppose 7 days if you want to do only yoga, and yoga, you will get bored. 7 days only you want to do basket, you will get bored. So there has to be some kind of change. Create that magic around you. So for me, Saturday, Sundays are free only for cycling and running. Rest of the days are catered for yoga and all those other activities. Now, the last part of this talk is, sir, इतना तो बता दिया आपने, अब ये तो बताओ, how do I walk the talk? ये motivation बहुत है, right? How do I walk the talk? So I will just help you in this part also. And when I say I will help you, these 3 slides I kept in the morning only. I thought when I'm talking about your holistic health also has a lot to do with the profession. Am I right or not? Right or not? So let me talk about your profession. So when it comes to your profession, you all have occupational hazards. Do you agree on that? All? We all have occupational hazards or not as a professional? पूछ रहा हूँ. Doctors, ATC officers. I was really pleased to know in the office of Dr. Prakash Chauhan that the first director of this institute was a wing commander, right? This is a news to me, and I'm really pleasantly, there were tears in my eyes at that time. He didn't even notice that. I mean, the veterans from Air Force have led the organizations, in such a manner actually. That's and a wonderful foundation, right, of NRSC. I think NRSC is one of the finest institutions in the country, even among the ISRO institutions. Arey, taali bajao bhai. So what I was saying, when it comes to professional approach in your life, there has to be defensive approach, there has to be assertive. These are 2 extremes. So one way is, I will save my skin whatsoever, right? I will not compromise. So I will keep, having the margins in my life. Defensive approach. I give you an example. Being a meteorologist, aviation meteorologist in Indian Air Force, there were 2 challenges every day as a young man, young officer, pilot officer. The first challenge was to give accurate weather forecast during those primitive times in 1987, when we didn't had even one satellite receiver in the entire Indian Air Force. Forget about the radars. Everything was based on some data which we used to receive from India Meteorological Department. We were highly dependent and highly untechnical. First challenge was this. Second challenge was to face the audience like you as a youngster, where veterans are sitting with those uniforms, medals and all that, and they want to hear your briefing and laugh over it. कि बेटा कल के क्या बोल के गए थे, कल बारिश होगा? This was the second challenge. So there were 2 possibilities, 2 options for me. One extreme was I adopt a defensive approach. That means I will always keep safe margins in my forecast, and it will never go wrong. And even if it goes wrong, there will not be any accident or incident because of my forecast. The second approach was another extreme, absolutely assertive approach, wherein it was risk heavy. That you made a decision, gentlemen, today The visibility is going to improve to 800 meter by this time, 1300 meter at this time, and 2000 meter by this time, so that you can commence your flying operations by this time. You are putting your neck there. No forecaster, even during those times and even today, generally talks like this. They say visibility will be less than 1 kilometer, 1 to 2 kilometer, 2 to 3 kilometer during this time. Why so much of assertion? Despite that this is being, risk heavy. What I learnt, that great Almighty, and see, this is not foolhardy's risk actually. It's a calculative risk. Very well calculative risk, but purely for the operations actually. What I found, the great Almighty was always watching you. He didn't let you face any kind of court of inquiries throughout your life. I have an absolutely, accident incident free kind of whole career of 28 years, 6 months and 11 days in Air Force. Because not of me, not because of me, because of the great Almighty, because despite this approach which I adopted, assertive approach, where the risk was being taken time and again for the sake of facilitation of operations. Why I'm sharing all this story with you? We all have a problem with respect to our next boss. Usko bura lag jayega. Whether I should say this, whether I should share opinion or not, whether I should do this, whether I should do that. Am I right or not? But this is the predicament we all have. So why not have the assertive approach rather than the defensive approach? The choice, I leave it to you. Courage of conviction is very important. These are your occupational hazards. Whether you're a doctor, you're an ITC officer, you are a scientist, all will have occupational hazards. Unless you have courage of conviction to say what you want to say in front of your bosses, voice your professional opinion, I don't think you can ever create yourself as a professional. I have realized that whatever your professional capacities are in life, ultimately the answer is people. That means your professional capacities should create an ability in you to deal with people in a beautiful way. That means, and how would it happen? Particularly for youngsters, as early as you get married to the organization, you develop this asset, how to capitalize on these assets. And I personally feel very sincerely, if you follow the first two principles, you are capable of creating your own brand within your own organization. People will quote you as a brand in your own NRSC, that this man, this woman is having these characteristics. If I had to ask the audience here, what is your biggest fear? Death, failure, or being labeled? Being labeled means ठप्पा लग गया, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, right? Which is the biggest failure out of this site? Biggest failure. Sorry, biggest fear. Biggest fear. Anybody from here? Or nobody want to own up? Anybody from here? Abdul ji. Being labeled. Achha, they are also being labeled. Being labeled? So generally, everybody knows, itna gyan sab mein hai, death to aani hai, failure honi hai. But I personally feel more than these three fears, there is another fear of ours, and which is always bugging our mind. And please take care of this fear, and that fear is fear of uncertainty, anxiety. All of us are suffering from that. भैया CGPA 10 आएगा कि नहीं आएगा बेटे का, पता नहीं क्या करके आएगा. Yesterday my son had gone to US consulate to get his visa. Everything was done. He has got stamp, admission slip from the CMU as well as the MIT. But there was still, even in my mind, the kind of bindas person I am, still there was some anxiety. पता नहीं इसको मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा visa. You're getting me? Can we overcome this? This is very important. This fear of uncertainty we need to work upon. This is the most important thing. जहां भय खत्म होता है वहीं जीवन शुरू हो जाता है. Do you agree on that? Whether it is death, whether it is being labeled, whether it is fear of uncertainty, the moment you develop a habit as a professional that I will not have any longer any anxiety. Most of you must have realized some people, when they even sit on the chairs, their legs are moving, hands are moving. What is this? State of anxiety. Please control it. And it is easily controllable. Easily controllable. And through which regime? These three women had told very clearly what yoga has done to them. But I'm surprised, not even one person among the males is practicing yoga here actually, right? And even if they are doing, they have not acknowledged that actually. So sum it up, what I wanted to say, to have that purpose versus passion, you need to have three hobbies. One, to keep yourself creative. How many of you have a creative hobby? Just raise your hand. Just raise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. In an audience of about 100 plus people, 14 people are having a creative hobby. I was really amazed. Some of the pictures Dr. Chauhan is developing in his office, he showed me that it is my passion. You have to look at, that means out of profession only he has created a hobby within his time actually. The next one is to keep yourself shape. Is this keeping yourself in shape with respect to something that you should look nice, trim? No. It is internally happy, internally alive, internally agile. मैं आपसे अभी बात कर रहा हूं, अगले 5 घंटे तक बात कर सकता हूं, अगले 10 घंटे तक बात कर सकता हूं. Believe me. All this because of yoga, my physical regime. I spend about 2.5 hours on average every day on myself. So when I was saying that Prakash Chauhan is going to kick me out, 20% for organization, 20% bhi bahut hai bhai. Provided you give that 20% in an absolute 100% fashion. Yourself, how much I said? 40%. It is important that you have one dedicated regime to keep yourself in and one to make you money. Don't keep cribbing. उसका कार इतना बढ़िया है, मैं तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर है, ठीक है, ISRO pays you well, fine. But then still, when we look at our neighbors, and all of you are staying in civil actually, right? Some comparison. Why not create mechanisms to make more money? Not through cryptocurrency, but through ethical ways actually, right? And I will put it this way, a person who can develop a hobby in a manner that it starts earning revenue for him over a period of time, that's something fantastic that can happen, whether as a youngster or as a veteran. When I look at myself, my journey, and I see my aspirations, what is my biggest aspiration? I am running 62. I just celebrated my birthday 3 days ago. What is my biggest aspiration? My biggest aspiration is to work for next 30 years. How many? 30 years. And only do what I love. And this is my hobby, to talk to people, to interact with people, to give back to the society and make a difference in the environment where you are. Right? I'm sure all of you are going to be a success phenomena, right? Today, tomorrow, and you are already a success person, right? But I want you to guard against a very important thing. ये कौन साहब है साहब जो जिनका फोटो है? गुलजार. और उन्होंने बोला था हवा को भी गुमान था अपनी आजादी पर. हवा को, that means air, right? Free air had that ego that I can move around anywhere. अपनी आजादी पर किसी ने उसे में भी गुब्बारे में भरकर बेच दिया, sold off. So what I want you to guard against, आप जितने भी बड़े इंटेलेक्चुअल बन जाएं, जितने भी बड़े साइंटिस्ट बन जाएं, जितने बड़े टेक्नोक्रेट बन जाएं, don't look at others. with those eyes. Come on, man. Come on, girl. You even don't know this much. If you can do this wonder in your life, that means you have actually achieved your purpose versus your passion. Real issue today, it is not applicable to the middle ranks. Okay? It is more applicable to some ranks here and there. What is the bigger issue? You need external validation. How many of you are aware of this theory? What is this theory? Maslow theory of hierarchy. This is the original theory, right? But wonderfully, this generation, what was the theory? Physiological needs, breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, etc. And nirvana was at morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice. But your generation is wonderful. Wonderful in many ways, right? Your generation has done what? Your physiological needs are full battery, Wi-Fi, laptop. इसके बिना तो जीवन ही नहीं है. See, beautiful thing about your current generation is, and when you look at your current generation, when I say even your children, they have two wonderful qualities. One is their integrity. सोचनी, कथनी और करनी. जो सोचते हैं वो कहते हैं, जो कहते हैं वो करते हैं, and they are not apologetic about it. They don't mince their words. Wonderful set of people. और हमारी जनरेशन दिमाग में कुछ है, कहते कुछ है और करते कुछ है. Wonderful. Second quality of this generation is that they have this multi-talent to carry at least half a dozen activities at a time. When I look at my boy, music, laptop, mobile, खाना, chat, बहुत कुछ करता है वो. 6 तो कर लेता. 6 activities he can do, right? But the problem this generation is facing because of this external validation that, oh man, my self-actualization in Nirvana will be the day I will have LinkedIn followers in millions, or maybe YouTube followers in millions. Your external, एक 4 like नहीं आए तो परेशान हो गए. Am I right? Why this external validation? And the problem is this external validation has made our life so miserable, even among veterans, that we don't even realize that. Am I giving you gyan as your parents have been giving at home? This younger? No, not at all. I'm just only cautioning that it's all these activities, all this mindset of fear of missing out, fear of being labeled, fear of left behind should not consume your own self actually. Right? That means whatever you have created as new Maslow theory for yourself, it should not consume you. You are important, your purpose is important, and so is your passion. So don't be online attractive, not important. Be spiritually attractive. And how can you be spiritually attractive? Through that holistic health principle which I have told you. Physical health, mental health, and yes, this is my favorite quote, and I say acknowledge, accept, and act. AAA. First, when you go from here, just try to acknowledge what shit I was talking about, right? And then try to accept. And if you accept, then you try to act upon it. And I say you are under no obligation to be the same person you were a year, month, or even 15 minutes ago, or I say 1 hour ago, before you entered into this auditorium. You have the right to grow and evolve. If you have a tendency that you take yourself too seriously, very seriously, मैं तो इतना बड़ा scientist हूँ यार, कैसी बात कर रहे हो तुम? Don't you know this much even? Then there is a problem actually. Then there is a problem in your thought process. You will never be able to evolve and grow. Start your holistic health journey today, and I will say no, your time on earth is limited. Don't try to age with grace. ये काफी बार सुना होगा parents से, grandparents से, age with grace. What is age with grace? Monkey tricks करो. Enjoy like a child actually. Unless you have stories to be told to your grandchildren, what kind of life you have led actually? Making sense? And I always say, याद रहे ये सफर बड़ा आदमी बनने का नहीं है, चौहान साहब जैसे. No, you are बड़ा आदमी भाई, you are. ये आदमी बनने का भी है, and you know, it would be amounting to his praise in front of him. I know Chauhan Saab for so many years now. I have watched him as an outsider. I'm not part of ISRO, but I've watched him as an outsider. And what is the biggest quality in him? That he is able to see this life and work balance very well, actually. Please give him a big hand. This is my last contribution to you.